All right, this video, we're going to move on to 5 and 6, which will pretty much finish up this lesson. You'll see the difference with 5 and 6 right up here is the polynomials are fourth degree. The last video that we did, they were third degree. So that meant we only had to do synthetic division successfully, which means you get the remainder to be 0. You only had to get it successfully once, because then you would get it down to a quadratic, where you could factor, use quadratic formula. The degree is one more than that. So I have to use synthetic division twice to get it down to a quadratic. All right, so let's come up with our list. Let's zero in on number 5. Okay, because we're definitely going to need some space. You're going to see this is going to take a decent amount of trial and error. All right, so if I came up with the list, okay, plus or minus, and I have the constant, the 8 right here, which is 1, 2, 4, and 8, over the factors of the leading coefficient 2, which are just 1 and 2. All right, so if I listed these out, I'm going to have plus or minus. Okay, if I did 1 over 1, that's just 1. 1 over 2 is plus or minus 1/2. 2 over 1 is just plus or minus 2. 2 over 2 is 1, which is already on the list. So I'm done with these. Circle the 4. 4 over 1, I get plus or minus 4. 4 over 2 is plus or minus 2, which is actually what, it's already on the list. So I'm done with that. 8 over 1 is plus or minus 8. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. That's on the list. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 10 possibilities right there because it's plus or minus. All right. Now, what I'm going to do here first, this is probably what's going to happen. Let's say we pick 1, right? I always say always pick 1. So if I pick 1, I always like starting with that. I'm going to put all these coefficients here. So 2x to the 4th, 7x cubed, negative 8x squared, 14x, and positive 8. All right, I'm bringing down the 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Add these, we get negative 5. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Negative 8 plus negative 5 is negative 13. Negative 13 times 1 is negative 13. 14 minus 13 is 1. You see this doesn't work. 1 times 1 is 1, and we add, we get 9. Okay, that remainder is not 0. So this is where it's real handy. Have an eraser with you. All right, what I can do on this, I'll actually use this little tool here where I can just erase all of this. All right, so all right, no big deal. This is going to happen. Boom, delete. I get rid of it. All right. Now, just for brevity's sake, I'm going to go to the 2 ones that give us 0. Now, you can keep going. If you try negative 1, it's not going to work. If you try 2 or negative 2, it's not going to work. The ones that actually work are 4 and negative 1/2. All right. So, again, I'm going to do it so it's a little bit quicker. 4 is one that's going to work. Okay, I'm going to put the coefficients at 2, negative 7, negative 8, 14, and 8. All right, so bring down the 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Add this, we get 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Add these, we're going to get negative 4. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. 14 minus 16 is negative 2. And then you see it works. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. There's our remainder of 0. All right. Now, I know I'm not done because I started with this this exponent of 4. This is an exponent of 3. So this is 2x cubed plus x squared minus 4x minus 2. Now, same thing. You would go through the list. All right. Now, one thing's a little bit unfortunate with this. The only other thing that works is negative 1/2. All right. It's a little bit of a pain dealing with fractions. But let's put negative 1/2 in here. Again, most likely, if you're doing it on your own, you're probably doing it, erasing it, trying another number. You don't get a remainder of 0. Erase it. Keep trying. All right, so let's bring down the 2. Negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1. Add here, we get 0. 0 times anything, 0. Negative 4 plus 0 is negative 4. And then negative 4 times negative 1/2 is positive 2. So we get that remainder to be 0. All right. And then what I've proven, I also have proven that I have the factors. So I've proven that 4 is a 0. So its factors x minus 4. Now, the negative 1/2, we would say x plus 1/2 is the factor, but you never list the factors with fractions. So to get rid of this fraction, I would multiply by the bottom. So if I doubled it, I would get 2x plus 1. Because if you set 2x plus 1 equal to 0, you get negative 1/2. Okay, and then the key part here, this is the quadratic. All right, this is 2x squared. Now, cool thing about this, you have the 0, so there's no x, and then it's just minus 4. All right, and then if we wanted to solve for that, we could actually factor out a 2, and then you would have 2 times x squared minus 2. So then if you set this equal to 0, you're going to have x squared equals 2, and then take the square root of both sides. So the last two zeros are plus or minus 2. Excuse me, plus or minus root 2. So those are 2 zeros, and then the other zeros we found are what, 4 and negative 1/2. Okay, those two we found using synthetic division. All right, okay, let's move to number 6. Now, number 6, again, I'm just going to go right to the ones that give us 0. I'm not even going to list the numbers. In fact, I'll just tell you, if you did, it actually would wind up being all the factors of 40, which are going to be plus or minus 1, 40, 2, 20, 4, 10, 5, and 8. All right, so we're just going to save time. Out of that whole list, I have to do synthetic division successfully twice to get down to a quadratic. And the ones that work for this are 1 and negative 4. So it's not messy like the last one where you had negative 1/2. So let's just skip. I'm going to go right to 1. Let's put this in. So 1x to the 4th, 1x cubed. Now there's no x squared, so don't forget the 0. It's a common mistake. 38x, and then negative 40. All right. Okay, let's bring down the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Add here, we get 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 times 1, we get 2. Add 38 and 2, we get 40. You see it works. 40 times 1 is 40. So we add these, our remainder is 0. All right. Okay, then at this point, you would look at your list and be like, okay, I'm going to pick another number, and I'm going to use synthetic division into this, because this is 3rd degree. Started with 4th degree, so this is 3rd degree. Okay, as I mentioned before, the other number, rational number that works is negative 4. So let's put negative 4. Okay, let's just move this up so we have space. All right. So I bring this down, I bring down the 1. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 4 is 8. Add these, we get 10. 10 times negative 4 is negative 40. So you see it works. Add these, they cancel. So here we're left with the quadratic. So right now, out of the 4 zeros, right, my degree is 4. I have 2 of them. I have 1 and negative 4. I'm going to use this quadratic to get the last 2. Now remember, if this 1 is a 0, when I factor it out, if 1's a 0, using the factor theorem, x minus 1's a factor. If negative 4 is a 0, then x plus 4 is a factor. Okay, and then this part, I'm going to highlight this. This is the main part. This is the quadratic of 1x squared minus 2x plus 10. All right, let's try to move this over. I don't know, I guess I can't move it over. I'm just going to rewrite it here. X squared minus 2x plus 10. All right. Now to find those last 2 zeros, you would try to factor. Kind of looking at the numbers, nothing's going to work. So yes, unfortunately, we have to delay this even longer than it is. We have to use quadratic formula. All right, so let's just finish this up. Let's use quadratic formula. This is taking a lot of work right here. All right. Oh, my face is getting in the way. There you go. Move me over here. All right. So x squared minus 2x plus 10. So when I use quadratic formula for this, I have, what is it, negative b. So the opposite of that's 2 plus or minus b squared. So negative 2 squared is 4 minus 4ac. So it's 4 times 1 times c, which is 10. Then it's over 2 times a. A is 1, so 2 times 1 is 2. All right. Now, you see when we do this, we're going to get 40, and we're going to get a negative in here. So that means the last two zeros are complex. We're going to have an I in it. So this, the discriminant, we're going to get 4 minus 40, which gives us, what, negative 36? So we'll have 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 36 over 2. Well, I know square root of 36 is 6, so if I have a negative, then I'm going to have 6i. So I'm going to have 2 plus or minus 6i over 2. And then I can divide this. 2 over 2 is 1. 6i over 2 is 3i. So we have 1 plus or minus 3i. All right. So in the end, the 4 zeros that we get are what? The 1, the 4, and then the 1 plus or minus 3i. If you were to graph this on your T-Inspire, the fourth degree polynomial, it would hit the x-axis at only 2 points, 1 and the 4, because we can't show complex numbers on the when we graph on the xy coordinate plane. All right, so kind of same stuff right here. We want the remainder to be 0, and we want to get it down to a quadratic.